2025 Dokkan has not been a good year for the game so far, at least for me. And the main reason as to why I feel like has to do with this character. One of the best and worst things that's happened to this game. Now, as for why this character is one of the best, I'm sure many players of this game already know the reason for that. It's because this is one of the most in-depth cards that the game has ever created to date. Especially due to the reversible exchange mechanic, which allows you to swap back and forth freely between two cards, and then having a special fusion where you fuse into Vegito for a limited amount of time. But I dare say this aspect of the card is what introduces an unhealthy element to the game. This card admittedly has a lot of depth to it, especially with the reversible exchange, where Goku is more offensive oriented, while on the other hand Vegeta is more defensive oriented. And thus it allows you to play whatever fashion you desire. But the reason why I say that Vegito is what's unhealthy for the game right now comes down to his counterattacks. Vegito has an unparalleled amount of damage he can output that no other card can match up to. And I have evidence that they're balancing the game's meta around this card in particular and no one else. So I would like to bring up this fight from back in May 2024 during Golden Week of that year. We had a Kid Buu fight that lasted 2 phases here. Specifically, the aspect I'm wanting to hone in on is the HP pool, how much HP the enemy has. So in this case, this was a pretty difficult fight on the time that this event released, and Kid Buu in the final phase has 90 million HP, while recovering 2% of that HP every turn. It was a pretty difficult fight at the time, but it had a multitude of ways to take it down, especially considering that you could attack lower that final phase, and you could potentially create team setups that would take down the first phase before I had a chance to move on to the second. But even then, the 90 million HP pool was a lot to dig through back then. Meanwhile, we take a look at an event that was created during the 10th anniversary back in February 2025, only around 9 months later, and as we can see, even the first 2 phases here have a lot more HP. The second phase in particular having almost double the amount of HP that Kid Buu had, but that would be understandable in a toss-up to power creep. But then we look down here against the last phase, where it has an HP pool of 630 million. And using a calculator, we can go ahead and type in the numbers here and find out that there's a difference of 630 million divided by 90 million is 7. So that means that this fight has 7 times the amount of HP as the Kid Buu fight that we went over in less than 10 months. Now, as for the reason as to why they did this, it's because of this guy. It's because his damage output is so high to the point where they need to increase the amount of enemies' HP exponentially so, to where he wouldn't just wipe out the fight in only just a handful of counters. I have a video that's on my channel that could help showcase this issue, and it's specifically this one right here, Stage 8 of the Goku Story Red Zone, the Future Trunks Saga. Here, I'm even trying to use some recent characters that have gotten easy A's or super easy A's. My last attempt with this team starts around the 30-minute range on this video, at turn 7 in the fight. Then 20 minutes later, at the 50-minute mark, I've only gotten the enemy down to 30% HP remaining, and I'm at turn 17. And again, this isn't using a whole lot of old characters, these are very recent additions. It's only after I lose this attempt that I decide to finally go for a different team build using Tech Vegito, which would be this team right here. And here I get to the fight turn 8. The following turn I fuse with Tech Vegito, and here he is taking out large portions of the enemy's HP just with his counters alone, increasing his damage even more so because he gets 10% attack with each attack received. Right here, he's literally taking out almost an entire 10th of the enemy's health bar just with one counter. Just as another example, there's another video on my channel right close to it, the Stage 7 of the Goku Story Red Zone, Universe 6 Saga, that also showcases this problem well. So here I'm attempting to use a Representatives of Universe 7 team, because this team recently got some new additions at the time, due to the STR Evolution Blue and the Int Goku plus Frieza, so I want to try to use this team and potentially get some use out of the Tech UI domain that allows us to dodge against this fight. But here we are, the domain is closed so I can't dodge anymore, and he's still got a lot of health remaining, even several turns later, and this hit has 560 million, which is not as high as the other fight we went over, but still a really significant increase over previous meta fights. And of course, what do you think Tech Vegito does against this fight? we're just gonna one turn. Now, oddly enough, I don't think that this fight is all too bad, even though it does have 1.5 billion HP. It's only a one-phase fight, and plus it is a little exploitable due to you being able to attack lower. And then this Vegeta counterpart is really not all too bad. They're really just long events, but with only one phase you're fighting against. And even the controversial Festival of Battles event I don't have too much of an issue with. Even though it is a 50-phase fight and can last several hours, it seems they are committed to release new characters that are specifically designed for this event, as well as the fact that they've only released significant rewards up to phase 25. Going further than that just gives you Link skill orbs. So in terms of content that they've released after the 10th anniversary, it's not too substantial, at least in my opinion. I wanted to bring up the Dokkan Special Day because I actually do consider it a decent addition, but I wouldn't consider this main content for the game. They hold the Dokkan Special Day twice a month, and they give you access to a limited time growth event and give you tickets to get a brand new summonable character. So even though I do think this is a really good addition to the game, and enhancing account growth is really helpful, I don't consider this main content. As for the funnily named Seriously Serious All-Out Battles, I actually do think this is pretty substantial content, but they make a new fight only once a month, and it obviously won't be able to carry content throughout the entire month. Even though the fights are pretty simple and easy, they still have some pretty creative missions that I think are fun to play through. As for the newest Red Zone that they released, I'm not a big fan. Some of the recent missions have been obviously based off of new premium characters, such as the Sibling Bond, Mission Execution, and Earthling category missions. And then comes in one of the worst additions to the game in quite some time. The Million Arena is basically intended to be a competition amongst all players in the world to get the highest damage in a single hit, while surviving what it has to throw at you. And they basically have two versions of it that you have to complete if you want to get all the missions done. As of the making of this video, we're currently in the semifinals of the first edition of the Million Arena, which them using the terminology first edition does definitely imply that they intend for this to happen again. Here's what they're referring to as the event schedule. See, we're only halfway through. We still have the finals and the commendation, whatever those are going to be like. I've already heard so much complaints about the preliminary stages and semifinal as it is. For them to potentially bring back this event in the same fashion with all this complaining, it would have come off as extremely tone deaf to the community. So far, all the recent events has just come down to one of two things. Events centered around a very broken character that no other unit can match up to, or events that no one seems to enjoy playing whatsoever. But in this video, on a positive note, I do want to at least mention some things that we can look forward to for the future of this game. We're going to be coming up on a new schedule change where we get the Global Dokkan campaign, which is intended to celebrate the global anniversary. They are seemingly going to be replacing the Worldwide Celebration campaign and making it bigger scale on the same as Anniversary. As for me personally, I'm still really enjoying playing the game. I'm logging in every day, but I just don't really feel incentivized to care too much for challenge content. I've been playing the game a lot more passively lately, just trying to link level and get these easy A's grinded up. For those that are interested in my channel, I'm probably not going to be uploading a whole lot anymore because I don't find that the game is too interesting, and I don't want to make content on something I'm not passionate about. I very well could see myself return to making content on this channel once I feel the passion comes back and the game gets better in my eyes, but it's not something I intend to ever force myself to do. I've lately just been feeling a whole lot more passionate about just playing games. I take a lot of enjoyment of just exploring brand new series. What the f? So if anyone would ever be interested in following my passions like that, then I'm probably going to be posting some stuff on my main channel here. Excuse the silly name. You wanna go to the door?
What the? Pepper Luigi.
Feel free to let me know in the comments what you'd like to see in terms of types of videos I could make. And also feel free to make any discussions or comments about Dokkan itself, your opinion on it, what you think about the current state of the game, or just anything having to do with it. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my video, and I hope to see you soon with whatever form my content takes now.